Have you ever smiled in public but cried in private? I know we all do that. Have you ever walked into work exhausted, like really, really exhausted, emotionally drained, but still told everyone, I'm fine, I'm fine. Some of the strongest people you know are silently breaking down. They're functioning, but they are not okay. They are showing up for everybody else while secretly losing themselves. And the scary thing is, many people don't even realize they are burnt out until their body, mind, and emotions begin to shut down. Today on Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, we are talking about the silent burnout crisis affecting professionals everywhere. Because sometimes the people that look strongest on the outside are the most exhausted on the inside. Watch now.
Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where nurses take control, break barriers, and build a future of financial freedom and career success. Whether you're burned out, ready to level up, or looking for the blueprint to thrive, you're in the right place. It's time to lead, grow, and win because your future starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Chichi.
Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where we pause, heal, reset, and rise. I am Dr. Chichi. If this is your first time here, welcome to this community of healing, growth, resilience, and transformation. And if you're returning, thank you for being part of this movement. Stay with me until the end of this episode because I'm going to share the moment I realized burnout was slowly stealing my joy and the powerful lesson that changed my life forever. Before we start, I just really want to appreciate Angole, my sister-in-law. She actually gave me this African print and it is very comfortable. I love it. Thank you so much, Angole. All right. So one thing I have learned over the years is that many professionals have mastered the art of looking okay when they're not okay. What people do when you meet them and you say, hello, how are you? And they say, I'm fine, I'm fine. They tell you, I'm fine. Are you really fine? They smile, they show up, they perform, they take care of everybody else. But internally, they are exhausted. Some people are physically present but emotionally absent. Some professionals are surviving on autopilot. Yes, people praise your strength while you silently suffer. People admire your resilience while you are emotionally drowning inside. Have you ever felt that way? Have you really ever felt that way? Have you felt tired even after sleeping? Have you ever felt emotionally disconnected from things you once loved? I understand burnout personally. There was a season in my life when I was balancing work, school, leadership, responsibilities, family, ministry, and even trying to be everything for everyone. I worked and I love what I did, but it was a lot. Like if we had projects, it kept me at work a little bit longer. I drove long distance to work. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours in Atlanta traffic. 2 hours. Sometimes if there's traffic, it takes you a long, long time to get home. I stayed up at night typing papers, working on assignments, studying, and still showing up the next morning to work like nothing happened. I did that. There were times my body ached constantly. I know a lot of you can relate to that. Our body ache. We know our body is going through inflammatory process, but we still keep on moving. Times I felt emotionally exhausted. Times I questioned myself silently. During my doctoral journey, especially during my final project, there were moments I almost gave up. I almost gave up. For 2 weeks, I barely left my home office. I was in the office, getting my papers ready. And the funny thing is, you give it to your project manager or your mentor. They look at it, they're like, and then you have to start all over again. It was so draining. I remember when I had everything that I needed to put on, I needed to type. I couldn't, I mean, I had them, but I could not type because my fingers were really stiff from typing. I was mentally drained, but God carried me through. God carried me through. And when my project was finally approved, I laid flat on the floor and thank God for His grace. It wasn't easy at all. And it's not just the fact that I'm dealing with school, my doctoral project and all that stuff. I was also dealing with pressure at work, microaggressions, exclusion, and so many other things, bias. I mean, it was a thing I don't even know where to start. You dealt with all that at work, all that pressure. I still was working really hard to do something positive for myself because of my skin. I have to prove myself double times any other person, with my accent, with everything I needed to prove myself. And that moment taught me something powerful. The moment taught me something powerful. And what was that? That means strength does not mean you never struggle. Strength does not mean you never struggle. You have to struggle. Strong people struggle too. Strong people get tired too. Strong people need healing too. One of the reasons I created the Take Charge Barometer was because many people do not recognize burnout early enough. They don't. Burnout does not happen overnight. It's really subtle. It happens in stages. And I came up with this framework, the drain zone. That's when the exhaustion begins. When the exhaustion begins, you're so drained. The next zone is the drip zone. Your passion starts disappearing. And can you imagine if you're in a toxic environment too, with all this causing the burnout? What you really love doing, you start losing passion for it. The next zone is distortion zone. Negativity at this point and self-doubt increases. You start self-doubting yourself. And then this array zone, life starts feeling chaotic and overwhelming. It gets really, really overwhelming. And then the last zone is the disconnect zone. You start being emotionally numb and shut down. I mean, for me, I was at work, but I wasn't there anymore. I stopped having interest in going to work. And sadly, many professionals are leaving these zones silently. During my seminar, and I was talking to people, some of the people that were present at the seminar said, I can't even recognize my zone because I am going through all that. We go through all that. And then you wonder why people stop. One question many people will ask is, if you are so unhappy, why do you stay? They ask you that and they think it's so easy for you to just walk out. The truth is, people stay stuck for many reasons. Some people get stuck because of fear, because of finances, because of the responsibilities they have, because of the culture and guilt too. And then sometimes you don't have that support, lack of support, and they stay. And some people are not staying because they love where they are. They're staying because they are afraid, very, very afraid, afraid to make the next step, afraid to start over, afraid of disappointing others, afraid of financial instability. This is why financial literacy matters. It does matter a lot. Financial stress affects emotional wellness. Burnout is not only emotional, sometimes it's connected to survival. So, how do you take charge? How do you begin healing? How do you take charge? Now, let's talk about the breakthrough. But before we do that, I just want to talk about a framework that I came up with. And that's a signature teaching tool that I usually use, and that is the Take Charge method. Take Charge method. And what is the Take Charge method? T stands for tune in. You need awareness. A stands for acknowledge. You have to accept it. You can never heal from what you do not acknowledge. K stands for keep boundaries. You need that. And E means energize, rest. And then C is create a new vision. Create a new vision. And H stands for heal intentionally. A stands for act boldly. R stands for rebuild your life. G stands for grow financially. And E stands for evolve into purpose. So let's talk about this. Acknowledge that you are not okay. That's the point. Because you're not okay. And stop glorifying exhaustion. Protect your peace. Reconnect with your purpose. Develop financial clarity. And seek support. Seek support. You cannot do it by yourself sometimes. Seek God through the process. You know, in Matthew 11:28, I happen to read the Bible. 11:28, Matthew 11:28, it says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So you need emotional transformation moment. You need an emotional transformation moment. You know, to the person listening right now, you may feel exhausted. You may feel invisible because sometimes that's what burnout does to you, especially if the environment that you're in is toxic. You have cliques around your job that is draining you or affecting you. You're being excluded in projects and all that. You feel invisible. But you know your what? I'm telling you, you feel emotionally drained, or sometimes you may feel trapped. But burnout is not the end of your story. I just want to assure you about that. Burnout is not the end of your story. You can heal, you can recover, you can rediscover yourself again. You can rediscover yourself again. And no matter how heavy life feels right now, please remember this. You do not have to carry anything alone. You don't. You don't have to carry anything alone. I mean, when I tell you I really felt it so bad, I was so burnt out. But you know what? I'm still grateful to God for that experience because that's why I'm able to talk about it now. That's why I'm able to share this story with each and every one of you. You know, that's why I have this platform to talk about burnout. It drained me so much that I started questioning my worth. At some point, I was, as a matter of fact, in my department, before I left my department, I was the only one with doctorate. But how can you work with people that do not appreciate you? All they want to do is to make you feel that you don't know anything when you know within you that you have a lot. I was able to organize a seminar by the grace of God, a successful seminar where people came and their lives were changed. The environment at work was not fulfilled. I wasn't fulfilled anymore. And I felt I've had enough experience to share my story and to organize people to come in and talk to other people so that they can have their life change. I mean, the feedback was amazing. The feedback was amazing. People are like, I've never attended such a seminar before. And I am very grateful I was here. They were so excited that they were here. They were excited that they were there at the seminar because we had um, a lot of lectures, a lot of interactive sessions where people shared their story, their burnout story, and how they took charge. We had a panel discussion. We had Dr. Veda Henderson presenting about self-care is an act of self-love. We had Dr. Mozichi presenting chronic stress and chronic diseases. We had Dr. Loba talking about financial literacy because sometimes that's why we get trapped. Because we think about everything in the world that we need to take care of, and we always forget that we need to be alive to take care of those things. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So why are we doing this? Why are we talking about this? We need to start planning our life so that we cannot keep on sitting in an environment that is draining us. So let me tell you, let your test become your testimony. Let your pain become your purpose. Let your struggle become your strength. Sometimes the very thing that almost broke us becomes a story that helps heal someone else. That's me. God made me go through it so that I can come out and help other people. So let me repeat that again. Sometimes the very thing that almost broke you becomes the story that helps heal someone else. So don't ever feel like you're going through a lot. And then because you're going through a lot, break from it. Find out why God wants you to go through that because that mess could be your ministry. Sometimes that very thing that almost broke you becomes the story that helps heal someone else. The night you cried in silence, the battle nobody saw, the disappointments, the rejections, the exhaustions, the moments you almost gave up, none of it is wasted. So every trial is building something inside of you. I want you to stop, pause, and find out that wonderful something that is building inside of you. And that thing could be strength, it could be wisdom, it could be resilience, it could be compassion, it could be purpose. So do not be ashamed of your journey. Never be ashamed of your journey. You know, people do stuff to you, they think they're trying to bring you down, but it becomes your testimony. Do not be ashamed of your journey. Let me tell you that again. Do not be ashamed of your journey. Some people, they'll see your glory, but never ever understand your story. They won't. So the pressure was not sent to destroy you, it came to develop you. So concentrate on the development that you're receiving from your experience. Diamonds are formed under pressure. You have to go through that heat if you're gold to be fine and be fine jewelry. So diamonds are formed under pressure and gold must pass through fire. Of course, and sometimes God allows the storm so you can discover the strength you never knew you had. Your scars are proof that you survived. Not just that, your comeback will speak louder than your setbacks. Concentrate on that. If you're the one going through any trials right now, I want to tell you, your comeback will speak louder than your setback. So keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep praying. Keep healing. Keep taking charge. Because one day, just one day, the very thing that made you cry will become the testimony that inspires the world. I don't know if someone heard that. You're going through trials and tribulation now. I am telling you, keep taking charge. The very thing that made you cry will become the testimony that inspires the world. So pause, heal, reset, and rise. That's all I have to tell you. Keep taking charge, keep healing, keep being strong. So let's reflect a little bit. So I want to leave you with a few reflection questions. So you're going to ask yourself this. When was the last time you truly rested? What is your body trying to tell you? Are you living or only surviving? So I want you to respond on the comment. I'm going to put on the comment what helps you take charge during difficult season. And I want you to put it down there. Put it down there. Let's talk about this. What helps you take charge during difficult season? So I want you to subscribe to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi. Like this video, comment, and share. And also visit us at www.sparklingstar.org. And I want you to remember, you can be successful and still need healing. You can be strong and still need rest. And no matter how burned out you feel today, your breakthrough is still possible. It's still possible. So this is Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where we pause, heal, reset, and rise. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next episode of Take Charge with Dr. Chichi. Bye-bye.
Take Charge with Dr. Chichi is a brand of Sparkling Star Development Strategies LLC. The information provided is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or medical advice. Financial services are offered independently by Dr. Chichi in accordance with applicable licensing and regulatory standards. Thank you for watching.